I'm Nemanja. I come from Serbia. It is a small country, for who doesn't know, in Southeastern Europe. And for people who are a longer time part of the WordPress community, that's where the WordPress Europe was in 2018. So I hope we met there, and I hope you had an amazing time. My journey as a developer started roughly 2 decades ago. I started with a small agency in Belgrade running like HTML, CSS stuff, improved to PHP, and creating some CMS systems for local news portals. And I'm currently employed with GoDaddy, and I'm working on the project that's putting an AI and website design together.
And for myself, my name's Anthony. I live in the United States in Arizona. I would describe myself as a very user, customer focused personality. I come from a customer support background, and when I approach problems, I always try to come at them from the most holistic experience way I can, just to give the best that I can do. Ultimately, it's the users at the end of the day of the web who are important. They drive it. Like Nemanja, I also work on an AI and WordPress project professionally.
And can you share a brief description of your project?
Yeah, our idea is to try to combine AI and WordPress, but not to boost the article production as it might sound. We want to use an AI to help and improve the HTML coding standards and make sure that the website can be properly read by the screen readers. Try not to diverge too much, but just a few months ago, we had an amazing WordPress meetup in Belgrade, and Lazar was giving a presentation about how the screen readers see your website. And one website that we demoed took my attention specifically, where when he opened the website with a screen reader activated, just 90% of the screen went black. So you can't see anything. The only thing you can see is the focus box that's jumping around, reading some text, no structure. It was really hard to navigate that website. And we actually got that moment where we can't see what's going on. We can't scroll, and yet we have no idea where we are. And I was already working on this AI project, and I thought, okay, let's see if we can use AI to make those websites better. We can't really fix the JavaScript part, but I'm sure we can fix some basic stuff so we can make websites more accessible. And yeah, let's see where it will go.
What problem does your project aim to solve?
Yeah, I think I could probably expand a little bit more on the problem, which probably goes into explain the why. We want to focus on accessibility. Just a real brief history, for myself. As I got into the web and building websites and WordPress, I really didn't know about accessibility at all. It's just the truth about it. I never heard about it. Nobody talked about it until a colleague of mine that I respect very much at some point made a big fuss about it, right? They're talking about screen readers, they're talking about image alt tags, and they're showing the average user like myself just how poor the experience is. And not just for, average users' websites, but even for major websites all around the world. So, I think generally it's almost a hidden problem because it affects a minority of people, a small section of people who deserve to have it right. So I think that's the issue that we're trying to solve, at least in a modest way at first. You got to prove it works. And I think the HTML things like ARIA tags, which are going to be critical for screen readers, and things like alt attributes for images, a descriptive text about the image for those who are visually impaired. Right? These are really low-hanging fruit in the big picture, but there's something that AI could largely automate. The average user shouldn't really have to think about it. It could just be done.
Yeah, there's a lot of accessibility aspects that this project could tackle. So what are the goals and scope of your project?
We would aim to build a WordPress plugin that will operate completely behind the scenes. So no setup, no nothing. It will know what it needs to do. When activated, it should intercept the HTML code that will be produced for each page, for each post, and run series of tests or series of actions. It's not really test. We don't want to test it. And making sure, how Anthony mentioned, that basic area tags are in place. We want to tackle the images, especially in the headings, like those huge heroes for, let's say, e-commerce websites, that they will put a text like 20% off of this product, but screen readers can't do anything with it, but AI can. We set like more or less realistic expectations that we will not make this perfect. It will not solve all the world problems in 2 days worth of work, but we just want to go with small things. As Anthony mentioned, low-hanging fruits. Let's see if we can fill important alt attributes. Not every image is important on the web page. There are just some images that are adding to the content for the look and feel, but maybe we don't need a text for that. We want to make sure that the buttons work correctly. We want to make sure that if a designer decided that the image is perfect for the button, it's not functional because that button is not there for the screen readers, and maybe we can figure out that there is an image in the button and put a according tag on it. So we say, oh, okay, this button does that. Overall, making sure that call to action elements on the page and basic images are visible for screen readers, and that you can skip to the content if that huge header is in that has no value, or if it is just a video that some screen readers can't even trigger to play.
And what attendee skill set would be most applicable to your project?
Yeah. Kind of at the top, like the AI sense, prompt engineering, but definitely not all. We care about the DOM manipulating the HTML that we're going to be working with. We care about caching systems to be able to persist the data. We care about WordPress integration for the plugin. Hooks implementation in PHP. That's going to be critical. Some of this is maybe language agnostic, like the manipulation or caching, but some of it's PHP, WordPress. And then general accessibility, people who are aware of how to interface or use those types of features, maybe experience with working with images, like how to analyze them from a programmatic, from an AI sense. These are all skills that will definitely contribute to the project.
How do you envision the impact on the open web and society in general?
It's a really interesting question, and I guess I might go a little bit more philosophical on this one than I should. But for a while, we are trying to make an internet to be standardized in certain ways, transparent, interoperable. In all that time, we did a lot of amazing things. We got W3C, who did an amazing work putting standards on HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Mozilla Foundation, who, well, we can say without them, certain aspects of browser technologies will possibly not even be there. Apache Foundation, PHP, MySQL, or in later days, MariaDB, among others. They did an amazing job on transparency and freedom of the web. Now we want to try to bring one of also key aspects of open web, which is accessibility, and not just making it like, accessible in a way where, it's free for everyone, accessible that it's visible for everyone who has an internet connection. And our idea is to add that fourth element and make the internet more accessible, and I can really say by enforcing certain standards, but not through legislations, but through AI and tech.
That brings me to the final question, and my favorite question, which is, which award, except for the overall winner, would you like to win with your team?
So I guess my personal picks would be two, which is either a Dream Team Award, because I really want to have an amazing team of people working on this and having a good time and producing something that will break the barriers, which is the second award that I would like to see. One of those, both, who knows?
Anything else that you guys would like to add?
I would just say, even if you are not interested in this project, stop by, have a word, maybe you will change your mind.
Yeah, I agree with that. Even if it's idea adjacent, everybody knows something that the other does not. I think we can all learn from each other. So we always love to engage.
Awesome. Well, Anthony and Nemanja, thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to meeting you both in person at the hackathon.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.